Hi, everyone. Jessica Morrison, Realtor with FP Tucker Company today. We sit down for a new home construction interview with David Weekley Homes and sales representative Amanda Cole. Today, we're going to talk about Harvest Trail, and it's one of their newest communities here in Westfield, Indiana. Amanda, thank you so much for braving this interview series. I know you're so excited. Tell us all about Harvest Trail as a community.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. So Harvest Trail is three different collections of homes. We have a courtyard collection, which is an alley loading on a 36-foot home site on a slab. All of those homes have the master bedroom upstairs, and they're 3 to 4 bedrooms. And then we also have our signature collection, which is on a 65-foot home site. It's basement optional, front loading garages. And we also have an executive series, which is definitely, it has a basement. It's on a 90-foot wide home site and it's got a side loading garage. So we've kind of got something for everyone in terms of size and in terms of price point.
I'm like loving so much that you mentioned basement because you would not believe how many sellers I know who would like to move up and there's no basements available. I once had a new home rep tell me that, oh, buyers don't want basements. I'm like they were trying to upsell the loft option. And I'm like, honey, that is misinformation. So
Yeah.
I hear that on price, that can be kind of the obstacle for including a basement, but I'm happy that you guys are doing that. So are basements for all of those products you just mentioned, or is it only on a certain collection?
So it is not, it's slab only in the courtyard collection. The signature is basement optional. So the base price is on a slab. The basement is an option. And we do require a basement on certain premium home sites. With the executive series, all of the homes have basements. Yeah.
That's just marvelous. Again, such a needed resource because the more that we can attract move up products, that frees up existing homes and therefore the truly affordable homes for first time home buyers. So really
Absolutely.
great domino effect. So I know prices are subject to change, legal disclaimer here, but at the current moment, because this is a newer community, do we have a ballpark on price yet or a range of what those are going to be?
Sure. So our courtyard collection is typically in the fours and fives. My signature collection varies quite a bit because you can do a slab, unfinished basement, basement. Those are typically, I would say, low sixes to mid eights. And then my executive collection is anywhere from eights to 1 million.
That's great. So you could literally stay in this neighborhood if you wanted to and
You could. We could
move
just,
through the ages.
yeah. Right size you every time.
Yeah. So let's back up. This is a new community. I know it's off of the Monon. Tell us a bit about why would a buyer be drawn? I know like we got the bones here of what all available house-wise, roughly. But let's kind of dive into like why would a buyer pick this new construction community over a different product?
Sure. So the location is really convenient to a lot of things. As you mentioned, we're on the Monon Trail. If you wanted a Monon home site, your home could actually back right up to the Monon. And so that is obviously appealing to a lot of people because they can hop on that and go to the YMCA, the pool, all the restaurants and entertainment. It connects to the Midland Trace Trail that takes you to the farmers market and all the fun new restaurants on Restaurant Row, Park Street, downtown, the library. So, anyways, people absolutely love that. Grand Park is right across the street, and Grand Universe is going to be right across the street. The Pickler will be right in front of our community. So, all the pickleball fans are flocking over here. It's just a great location. Yeah, aside from that, we're near the highway. So 31 is just a couple of blocks east. It makes for a quick commute no matter where you're going. So I think the location is just really hard to beat. Yeah, that's a big part of it.
It just continues to blow my mind. I grew up 2 blocks east of Westfield High School, and I watched K through 12, like what Carmel witnessed in their transformation. And it's just so funny how much I just have to really like wrap my mind around like how quickly, well, like quickly, I mean, if you're a long-term Westfield resident or like generational, like my dad used to grow up, like there was a farm where Westfield High School used to be, and he used to work there. And now
Really?
it's just like, yeah, I mean, the layers of history that my family personally has been a part of in Westfield history, and just seeing like the needs then and now, like it just continues to blow my mind how
Yes.
West of 31 has just transformed so much. So if you're a local resident of a long tenure, I am with you more than you know on some of these new projects that are coming in. It's so bittersweet because it's like planetarian type experience, like but at
I
the same
know.
time, it's just funny how, and I think a really beautiful testament to the workforce and talent attraction, tourism. We have officials, dedicated officials, who are working so hard to bring these great and creative, unique projects to the city. That even though this is Indiana at the end of the day, it's in Westfield. Like, who would have thought? Like it's just so strange, but like personally seeing this growth, but really unique at the end of the day and cool to witness because it is a beautiful area. And so all of that to say, yes, like the Monon now being at that point in the structure as a reliable piece of trail infrastructure for Westfield is so needed because that's not really there most throughout Westfield. But to have all of those by hopping on a bike or some type of motor experience within legal limitations of trail use. It's just so neat to witness. And
It is.
so, yeah. Do you have a favorite Westfield amenity that's come in recently?
Um, that's a great question. I like to eat. So honestly, all the restaurants, I just tried out Mash House the other day. And then I go to like Chiba, Italian House, Nyla's, all of those I frequent fairly regularly.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually super excited about the plans for across the street. I mean, just being able to literally after work or if you live here walk over and there's supposed to be like a canal and all these like super like cool things. um I don't know, it's just really exciting to think all of that's going to be like right next door. So yeah, I don't,
Right.
it's hard to name just one thing because I chose to make Westfield my home in 2013. So I've seen a lot of the growth
Okay.
too. And every time something new comes in, that's my new favorite thing. So, but yeah, it's just fun. It's a great community. There's a lot of great people, and it's fun to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely bittersweet because the land west of 31, north of 32 is really a beautiful area because there's some nice pockets with the trees. You've got Hinkle Creek. So it's not your typical elevation, which is like Chatham Hills. I think was a strong point of attraction because it's not maybe as predictable as
Oh,
some of
yeah.
these other developments in terms of elevation. So um, I know we kind of nerded out a little bit about Westfield, and I'm really happy about that, honestly, because we can do these new construction series and it's a little predictable in what we're going to talk about, but I think that diving into all that this specific city has to offer is really fun. And I hope that it's a helpful resource for those of you who might be watching this and considering relocating, getting a good feel for the area. I was listening to an economic forecast webinar on a new construction review. This was on a national level, and they were talking about builder sales and which markets were struggling and seeing a surplus of inventory, and it was kind of a buyer's market there, and it was very market or city specific. And it was just kind of this out of body experience because then it shifted in conversation. Let's just talk about sorry, let's talk about who's doing well in new construction. And oh, Indianapolis, like top five. And
Yeah.
then I kid you not, it was not a paid actor. Westfield
Yes.
was specifically mentioned. And like to hear this guy who's totally from out of town trying to describe our area and then go into town about Grand Park specifically being
Yes.
named. I mean, I was like, good job, Westfield. Like you really
Yes.
made a name for yourself. So take some comfort if you're interviewing different areas to know that on a national level, there's some recognition with this. And maybe for those who are not familiar, what is Grand Park?
Oh, well, it's a huge sporting facility. They've got the Colts camp over there. There's the Pacers basketball area. So there's just the opportunity to both watch sports, but also if you have youth in your family that likes to play, there's football, baseball. Gosh, I'm trying to think basketball. There's just a lot of sports, soccer. And the facility is not used just for sports. There's also events that Westfield puts on there. I believe there was like some sort of home show over there, wasn't there? Did you go to that? And then there was
Yeah.
also like the 4th of July celebration where they've got food trucks and live bands. And so it's just an opportunity, I think, for community.
Mhm.
It's a great space.
Yeah, and if you are buying now in this area, there are massive commercial retail mixed use plans coming that are going to wrap around the park. And this is something that honestly is probably 10 to 15 years delayed. I have sources from other municipalities who told me that Westfield just wanted a lot for the land and it wasn't as attractive to developers. And I think now the market shifted a bit more. And I think that talent or infrastructure with utilities is there to make those numbers make more sense. And so that's why I think we're seeing a big uptick in some of these big development projects. And so it's been proposed for a long time. It's what the city's wanted. It's interesting now to finally see that get approved and moving towards that direction because it's really going to, I think, just further add to your favorites list, Amanda.
I know. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's really fun. Carmel specifically has been getting some newer restaurants lately that I'm like a foodie, and honestly, like the list has kind of gotten too long. I think we need to have some consecutive date nights. Um, So to make this more specific and relevant for our buyers, let's talk a bit about the home, like floor plans. Are there, I feel like the multi-generational living, correct me if I'm wrong, is becoming more of a focus where maybe there's an elderly relative or a college student needing to have a living space. Do any of your floor plans accommodate that, or is this more of conscious sizable living and smaller units and therefore maybe the grand I mean you have a larger product that's 8 and a million more but on some of these more financially conservative numbers is that kind of product available or I'll let you just kind of take it and go with it.
Okay. So I couldn't hear everything you were saying. The speaker was breaking up. I think you asked me about multi-generational living. Is that right?
Yeah, in a nutshell.
Okay. So we have things that could work for that. What I mean by that is we have, for instance, ranch plans that have maybe 2 living rooms on the main level plus a study. So maybe there's a couple bedrooms off of a retreat, and then they've got like a couple bathrooms in that space. So it's kind of a more private area. And then we also have, I mean, we've got homes with master bedroom upstairs or on the main level, just depending on people's needs, or if they want all the bedrooms on the same level, or if they want them on multiple levels. So there's certainly room for like separation, and there's certain floor plans that have ensuite bathrooms. Um, yeah, so I would say that we do have some floor plans that could absolutely work for those types of situations. Yeah. Did I answer that correctly?
I don't know if there's a correct answer with that. I think it's just helpful for a buyer to know, like, do I have the option to let my elderly father live with us for a time
Oh,
or
absolutely. Yep. And that's
something
been a
like that.
consideration. I have a couple floor plans where they said, I just need a bedroom on the main level. The rest can be wherever, but I need a bedroom on the main level. So we've got, I would say we kind of have something for everyone.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Now, are you seeing an uptick as well in buyer requesting for at least one home office and a potential secondary office or side hustle, hobby space? Like, has that been a priority in some of your buyer discussions?
Yes, most of my buyers want at least one office, I
Okay.
would say.
Um, are we with internet? Some of us are gamers, some of us are just really snobbish about our video quality. What's the internet look like there?
Um, as far as providers,
Providers in like is fiber connected available? Because
so
sometimes it's
Metronet will be available. It's not available yet. Um, Interestingly enough, our model has it, but we're waiting for the rest of the community to be available on the map. Um, we do have uh, fiber available with another company. Quite frankly, I'm drawing a blank, so I'll have to get back to you on that. But yes, there are definite different opportunities available with Wi-Fi and internet.
okay.
When you build, you
Yeah.
can choose if you want to add like certain Cat 6 or whatever the is
Yeah.
most popular now. You can opt to add those if you need it in certain rooms to be like hardwired in.
Yeah, and that's something I love to geek out on because the bigger your funnel is, like the higher the number of the cat, the bigger the funnel is for you to be able to download these big packets of data.
Sure.
So when you're engaging with like a 4K video or you really, um, my brother's a big gamer and so having that, it's like it might not be important in my world, but for some people it is. And
Yeah.
just being conscious of that when you're building or in resale, like VR is not really a thing in our market or in our world yet. I don't know if it really will be part of our lifestyle in 5 or 10 years. But the more that we can set our home up in infrastructure wise, with making those upgrades, it really helps with resale down the road and just a better user experience. So, um, with especially like if you ever do like a home theater room or something fun like that, it
Yeah.
just, I don't know, improve the quality and experience of your home. So, are there any upgrades that you see buyers making in their floor plans that are either surprising to you or things that you think people should do more of?
Surprising. I feel like I'm never surprised these days. I've seen a lot of things. Yeah, no, nothing really surprising. We all have our own preferences. Um, Things that people want though. I would say popular things that a lot of people will choose are like cabinets to the ceiling, soft close dovetail construction, sometimes maybe like a customized closet space. Um, yeah, I mean, everyone lives in their space differently. So I always try to just figure out what the needs are of that person and make sure that I'm meeting them. Yeah.
That's a good business plan.
Yeah.
I stay in business.
What's important to me might not be important to you and vice versa. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. I feel like for the higher price points, dog washing stations or pet stations tend to be something that's sometimes an attractive or an add-on. Is that an option for these higher price points?
You know what? I actually have never seen one in one of the homes that I've sold or the communities that I've sold in. And
Sure.
I will say I've worked for David Weekley for 6 years, but it might be something that we do at the design center. I just
Mhm.
haven't had anyone ask for that.
Okay.
So yeah, that hasn't been like a huge, I would say, need for most of my buyers.
Okay. And to clarify for someone who hasn't worked with you guys and is not familiar with David Weekley in our local market, sometimes builders say that they're customizable floor plans where they can move walls around. And there is a difference between a truly custom builder and a production builder. Where would you say a buyer would fall in working with you to quote customize the home and or is much of it customizable?
Sure. So I would say we fall kind of in the middle of that, more of like semi-custom. Um, by that I mean that we have flex options, structural options that you can choose from. We typically don't deviate from that. So if you said, I want to move this living room wall over, 3 feet, that would not be something that we did. You would be able to choose from our options, basically how that floor plan would best fit your needs. So just an example of that would be most of our homes come with a tub shower combination in the primary bathroom. And if you wanted a huge, beautiful super shower instead of the tub, then we could do that. That would be an example of a structural change that we would make. Or if they wanted to finish the basement, we've got a game room bathroom option or a game room bathroom option. But it would be the way that it shows on the floor plan and the flex option we show. They wouldn't be able to say, you know what, I like that, but let's move the bedroom over here. So again, it's kind of like, yes, we have options to change it, but it's still within the realm of what we've presented to you. And then when you go to the design center, there is a lot of opportunities for customization there. We have a huge design center. It's multiple rooms. You spend typically 6 hours with our design team broken up over 2 appointments. And so at that time, you're picking all the pretty things in your home. Yeah, I mean, choosing grout color, what way the tiles go, like, if you want like an in-home speaker system for your family room, and there's all sorts of things to choose from. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's not endless, but there's a lot of possibilities there for customization.
Yeah, and I love as an artist, like that is literally one of my favorite appointments to attend with buyers because you get some clients who like it's like they've been waiting their whole life for this moment and it's so fun. And if they have a partner, it's usually like one person is like, I'm going to be here the whole time. And the other partner's like, I'm overwhelmed. This is my attic space. Like, when can we go home? And it's not like that they don't enjoy it. It's just that it takes a lot of energy. And it's really fun to be kind of a liaison and maybe help clarify some of those selections or even more preemptively. Like, have you had many clients come in with like a Pinterest board or save like design ideas and maybe kind of work to pick from what you guys have? Is that a common thing or are people just more of the spontaneous selection?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit on my end. Could you say the last part one more time?
Do you find that buyers are more likely to be prepared with bringing in something like a Pinterest board of some of their favorite
Oh,
designs, or do you find them being more spontaneous and making those selections at the time of that design meeting?
well, we certainly encourage people to have a little bit of a vision ahead of time. When they sign a purchase agreement with us, they get a buyer site. It's their own personalized website. They can typically pay earnest money, sign documents there, but they'll also be able to view pictures of the entire build. On that site, there's a questionnaire that helps the design team prepare for their visit. And then typically our sales team also encourages that they do look at Pinterest, have an idea of the overall look that they want to have in their space, and to bring those to the meeting. That way, the designer can understand a little bit more about their vision and help them accomplish that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really smart. I love it. And I think the more that I do that as well, anytime I have a new client, they fill out, I'm pretty sure it's close to 40 questions of just information. It's all in one space, but then it exhausts a lot of like what they're looking for. And that just really expedites the whole process. It ensures that you're maintaining that quality and high caliber experience that you want someone to have. And um, hopefully not taking 6 hours because that's really a lot. But at the same time, it is broken up into two meetings. But um, I don't know. It's really funny how you can be looking at one version of white for so long and it, I don't
Well,
know.
because there's so much customization, it usually does take the full six. But it's very guided. And so the design team goes over typically like the larger ticketed items first. That way, people have a better idea of what they're going to spend after their first meeting. And that just allows them to kind of regroup and go into that second meeting. They can kind
Yeah.
of reassess, make some changes, and kind of finish out with some lighting or electrical or something that's not driving the price up as much. So I think the
Yeah.
way that they've structured it is really honestly great for the process, and it helps people also take a little of the pressure off that first
Hmm.
meeting where they don't feel like it has to be perfect and they've got time to kind of like breathe in between and think, okay, is this really what we want in this space? Now that we've seen the design options, they go back and think it over. And yeah, it's a great tool, and we've got a great design team, and that's their full-time job. All they do is design homes, so they're definitely the experts in all of it. So and they'll be as involved, or I guess as quiet as they need to be. Some people want a little bit more feedback on what looks good in
Hmm.
their home, and some people already know, and they're just like, show me where this is, you know. So um, yeah, it's a pretty smooth process in general, I would say.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a great reputation in our market, and both I've had buyers work with you guys to build and have bought one of your like newly built homes because sometimes it's always interesting to watch like new build communities with the turnover rate. And it's not that
Mhm.
they're high turnover, it's just that sometimes it surprises you how quickly sometimes people sell for different reasons.
Yeah.
Um, so that being said, um, why would someone want to work with David Weekley specifically? Like, let's say you've got the same price point, they're interviewing different builders in the area also who have great reputations, but what do you feel really sets you apart?
I would say the people. Um, each step of the way, we have experts in the process. When you go into a model, you're greeted by a sales consultant who specializes in that community. And then once you've purchased, you're handed off to we have got two designers. So Laura, Kim are the design center. And then once you're done there, you're actually handed back to the sales consultant and the builder. And they're with you checking in every single week until closing. So you've got weekly check-ins, typically phone calls and email follow-ups, as well as several meetings and checkpoints throughout the way. And then after you close, actually at closing, typically you'll meet our warranty representative, and he will actually come out, talk to you about your warranty in your home. When you call to make a warranty request, that same person is going to come to your house. And so having someone that is local, that cares about your experience, every step of the way, I think it really matters. And I've had people specifically tell me, wow, like I haven't had this experience with anyone else. Like, thank you so much. Like, you've been so helpful. And that's rewarding to hear that as well. Um, in addition to that, I think just the way that we build is top notch. I mean, we build with 2x6 exterior construction. We're stick built on the home site. Not lot of builders can claim that. So the way your home is going to kind of I guess wear over time. The insulation and soundproofing in the home. I think it's a noticeable difference, and I do hear that from almost everyone that walks through my door. They'll point things out before I even have to. And it's a great segue for me to say, yeah, that's what you're noticing is this. Sight lines through the home, big windows, lots of natural light, open concept floor plans. I think that, in regards to like staying on top of what people want, we have a lot of those things. So,
Yeah, that's great. And that is consistent with the buyer feedback that I've had in representing clients. Um, I think that some of your floor plans too are a little bit more neat, like unique compared to especially production builders where it's kind of predictable. Um, there was one where the buyer was able to buy at Gramercy West, and he has an upstairs walkout front porch. Like there's a front porch on the main, but there's also one on the second level, and it's right off
Yeah.
the master suite. And like, how many homes do you know that have that type of elevation style? And so it's um, I don't know. Like, I don't want to like say favorites or anything like that. And obviously, if you're a buyer watching this and you're like, well, blah, 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 experience, whatever, like, I'm sorry you had a bad apple. We're all human at the end of the day and people make mistakes. But I think the important thing is that, that you've got a good team, hopefully, wherever you choose to build, that people do truly care about the work that they're doing, that they've got great subcontractors. And then I think this is a good segue to clarify the warranty. That's something that builders love to promote. It varies from builder to builder. So what's the warranty look like for peace of mind once the buyer closes?
Absolutely. So I'll just give you the basics. So we always do like a technically it's like an 11-month walkthrough after someone closes. So usually people notice like nail pops, things like that as the home settles. We do a walkthrough where we take care of that, like if any grout is cracked, that sort of thing. But as far as like some of the big stuff, that was the 1 year limited warranty on workmanship and defects. We've got a 2 year warranty on portions of major mechanical, a 4 year roof warranty on faulty workmanship and materials. And then we also have a 10 year transferable basement waterproofing warranty. So I would say we've got pretty nice long-term warranty on the big stuff.
Okay. Now, fairly common in new builds, the buyer moves in, they probably close like winter time, summer comes, first experiences with rain. They've got standing water in the backyard. Yard's not draining properly. What's the builder's role in fixing that, and who do they call?
Honestly, I always advise that the buyers contact warranty regardless of coverage.
Mhm.
They'll make that decision after they do an assessment. And I will say, David Weekley, I can't say that they'll always do it, but sometimes we will cover things even if it's not under warranty. So I always tell people just call, get the assessment and go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that, depending on the easement situation, it might fall under the city to fix, but at the same time, I think the more that you can involve the builder in that process, um, granted you have closed, but I think, and even include your realtor, like if that's not me for some reason, we love to be involved in conversations after closing because we do deeply care about your client. Again, if you have a bad apple experience, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of us as professionals who do deeply care. And we want the home to be a blessing to you after closing. And so if there's any problems that arise for whatever reason, feel free to reach out to your agent, but definitely involve the builder in that conversation so that the sooner there's a problem that we can get it addressed. I do want to be sensitive to your time, Amanda. So we covered a lot in a short amount of time. To close, are there any tips, incentives, programs that you would have for a buyer or seller in today's market? And it's a loaded question.
Yeah, that was a several in one, wasn't it? So I'm going to briefly talk about our current incentive that's starting Friday. So in our courtyard collection, they will be getting $15,000 towards the design center. My signature is 20,000 and my executive is $30,000. So that's not a small amount of money. Most people, I would say, spend well, my quick move-in homes have about 70 to 74,000. And the lowest I've had a buyer put in there so far is right around 40. And they're super handy, so they plan on doing a few things after closing. So yeah, we've got a great incentive coming up starting tomorrow. So if anybody has questions, they're welcome to reach out. And then as far as what was the other question?
Tips for buyers or sellers navigating this market, especially on the selling side. I feel like there's a number of obstacles that they have to overcome before they get willing to have this conversation. If
Yeah. So, David Weekley will entertain some contingencies. So you don't be afraid to ask that question when you walk in. We have like a max number we can offer. So they're not always available, but it's definitely something that we can have a conversation about or work towards. And then as far as I'm trying to think, I'm so sorry. I think someone's getting ready to walk in. I'm so sorry. Someone's
it's
walking
okay.
through the door.
Thank you so we're gonna end here. Thank you so much for your time, Amanda. I'm gonna go let you
Yes.
go sell a house and message us if you guys have any questions. Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
so much. All right.
Bye.